Oh, and so the other thing to briefly say, just in terms of housekeeping, so we kind of expect it to take up to about 8:30. We've got pizzas coming at 8:45. So all being well, we can have stick around for some complimentary pizza, a beer, and we'll put the second half of the Spain-Portugal game on. So hopefully the timings sort of work out to that effect, right?
Okay, right, we'll start the meeting then. Apologies in roll call. I'm going to call them out.
Yeah, so we got under sixes, sevens, 7 girls.
Yeah.
8 boys.
Yeah.
8 girls.
Yeah.
Under 9s.
Yeah.
9 girls.
Yeah.
10 boys. Yeah. 10 girls.
Yeah.
11s.
Yeah.
11 girls.
Yeah.
Under 12s.
Yeah.
12 girls. 12 Saturday team. 12 girls.
Yeah.
13 boys.
Yeah.
13 girls.
Yeah.
14 boys. Not had any apologies, so hopefully Brett will turn up. 14 girls. 15s.
Yeah.
15 girls. 15 girls. 16s. 16 Colts.
Yeah.
16 girls. Under 18s.
Yeah.
AFC. And then I think we've got Lucy as the Evening Youth League. Is Matt here? Matt Fozzard? He did say he was potentially going to struggle. Paul, Saturday. Craig, girls. Yeah, I think we've got all the sex. I think we're all accounted for, right? So, right, thank you.
Okay. Previous AGM. No matters arising from that, was there? So obviously the minutes has all been sent to you from the last AGM. Is there any questions about them? If not, can we have someone to propose that the minutes was correct and somebody to second it, please? Yeah. Graham and Susie. Thank you. Right, we'll go on to Chairman's report. Obviously, it's been sent out. So, want to congratulate all the teams. We've had one of the best successful seasons for a long time. All the teams have had success in cup matches, league matches, and winning leagues. Well done. It is a great success. But success isn't always measured by trophies. Some teams the previous season have been struggling for numbers, and we haven't had a team drop out, so they've managed to recruit properly, and sometimes just completing the season is just as much as a success as winning silverware. We've hosted another fantastic tournament this year. I'd like to go on record and thank everybody involved. The countless hours of work that goes into the tournament is long before the actual tournament weekend. There's many hours spent preparing ground, ordering stock, booking equipment, and everything up, just cleaning up the general area. To every volunteer who gave up the time over the tournament weekend, thank you, whether that's on the coffee, bars, refereeing, litter picking, car park. Without each and every one of you, our tournament wouldn't be the success that it is. Big thank you to Susie and the team for everything that they do in the clubhouse, week in, week out. The clubhouse is really the heart of the club, and long may that continue. Graham, Colin, thanks for producing some of the best football pitches in Bristol. The hours you often that you always put in all weathers probably goes unnoticed by many people, but I personally noticed the amount of hours you spend. So thank you to you both. To all the league secretaries, thank you for the work for arranging and rearranging fixtures throughout the season. It's obviously a demanding role. Finally, I'd like to thank my fellow committee members for their hard work and commitment. We do face challenges each year, and we've had to deal with them constructively and always within the best interests of the club at heart. Nobody teaches us how to sort of like some of the things that we get blown up. So, you know, we try to do our best and we all seem to get a fairly fair outcome. A special mention to this man here, Greg, and to Joe, who both decided to step down from their roles. On a personal level, I want to thank you for both stepping up 3 years ago when there was big changes at the club. Your hard work, commitment and passion has helped shape the club to what we are today. And you'll be remembered for many years to come. You'll always be part of the Bristol Juniors history, but you will both be greatly missed. Once again, thank you to every player, coach, manager, volunteer, committee member, parents, supporter, sponsored, who has played another fantastic season. Bristol Juniors is more than just a club. It's a community that is only possible because of people who give their time, energy, and commitment. Thank you. Here's for another successful season ahead. Over to Phil, Secretary's report.
Thank you. Yeah, so sorry, but some of it will be somewhat similar because I think we've all got similar messages to tell. So again, like Craig said, thanks to all the for everyone that does everything, the committee members. As Craig said, you know, we're still a fairly new committee, only 3 years old, and there's no handbook for the things that turn up we have to deal with sort of sensitively, fairly, etc. But you know, I think we've done it, as Craig said, we've always come up with something that has been in the best of, you know, as many people as possible. Obviously, Greg and Joe going is a big loss to us. Also, want to thank Greg. He's a real, you know, you'll be missed in terms of that real, you know, measured kind of approach to things. And as you say, you'll be around the club, so hopefully we'll still be able to bend your ear on things because you're just a real voice of reason that I think has been valuable as we've gone through a lot of transition. So thanks, Greg and Joe as well. Obviously, you know, it was a massive change for us to go from, you know, 3 long-standing members to a brand new committee. And so Joe's come in. There's been just no, you know, from a financial perspective, when you know, we've seen the figures, we're dealing with big sums of money in and out the club, and you know, we've had no issues. It's been absolutely seamless, and she's introduced new sort of technical process, you know, kind of technical tools into the process. And with the help of Boyd, it's been brilliant. So, you know, that's been fantastic. Also, the league secretaries, you know, we've got, you know, when I was one of the league secretaries, we had half the number of teams that we've got now. I do think actually we might want to think about going forward, separating the girls into, it's quite a lot of effort for one person to do all the girls teams, where the boys are naturally split up across divisions or ages. But just want to thank all of those. It's like signing on 400 players, managing and organising, coordinating 500 fixtures is no trivial thing. And you know, it's when you get weather like we've had, it's really, you know, it's kind of can be a full-time, you know, near full-time job at times. So thanks to everyone there. As Craig said, the teams, you know, we don't just measure teams on their league success. We measure them on, there's been some teams this season that have gone through transition, and without the leadership that some of the managers shown and new managers at times, the teams wouldn't have survived. I mean, there's a number of examples where really we thought there was a good chance teams folded and they didn't, and that is unbelievable. That's in some respects, for the kids that are playing, that's more than a win in the league championship. You know, that is, they're still playing football, which is at the heart of what we do, right? The tournament was excellent. I think we all agree. We had brilliant weather. I'm still waiting for one. I was looking back, and I think I've been involved in helping sort of organise the tournament since 2017. We had one obviously year that it didn't happen because of COVID. But I keep saying to Susie, like, 1 year, we're going to get. And I'm not allowed to say it. We haven't had rain, and like this year, if we'd had it a week earlier, Imagine what disaster it would have been. It was like, but it was so good. I mean, like this year, I think, again, if you've read the notes on the minutes from Joe, this year we had a new high. I mean, it was a crazy amount of profit. It was absolutely brilliant. And it's only possible with so many people making it happen. And that is absolutely fantastic. One sort of nice thing that that I always think, how do we get more than 192 teams here, which is what I've kind of got it to. Can't start early in 8:30, can't finish after 6. But the 3v3, what we did this year, where we had a little festival as a little test of water, that's how we do it. So next year, we'll get us up to 240, 250, because what we'll do is the following week, and actually the 3v3, for anyone, there was only me, Craig and Graham that run that, and obviously Susie's work, in the bar, we were just able to run it. So we don't need to rely on everyone, but we can get another 47 under 7 teams doing that, and that's how we kind of push ourselves, and maybe next year push for 20k profit, right? So we'll all look forward to that. But excellent work. Obviously with the clubhouse, I mean, again, like when you look at the figures show how much work Susie does. I know, we're not going to go into it now because I want to bring somebody down, but she cares so much, and I think, I'm also involved in other football clubs, as you know, and it's not a given that everyone cares that much. So honestly, what you do, Susie, is unbelievable. So thank you for everything there. Greg, on the compliance, obviously we're going to miss that compliance, that sort of steady hand that we've had for years. Again, with that much compliance activity, we never used to have a compliance officer because we didn't need it, and now it's such an important part of what we do, and we see what happens, when we don't organise ourselves in such a way. So that's amazing. A comment about the football school this year. Obviously, we tried the franchise approach. Unfortunately, for varying reasons, probably predominantly the weather, that really impacted us at a point where we were trying to, move it in a certain direction. It just sort of didn't work. But we have to, as always, put on record that we thank Ahmed for his transparency, honesty, and effort in making that work. And unfortunately, for various reasons, with no blame, we all shook hands and we moved forward. And we tried to go back to the traditional way, which is kind of seems like it's necessary. But as we go through the summer, we're already thinking about how we're going to make that work. But to make it work, as we did try to recover what was failing last year, we once again relied on a lot of key people at the club, and Greg in particular. I mean, it was in the end, I think you put in one of your reports, it was almost like a nice full circle moment for you to come back and kind of support, and I think you got something out of it as well as the kids. So that was amazing. And then some volunteers that we'll recognise later on about that, because that was again for only about 2.5 months, but it was it was fantastic what we did manage to get back under our wing. An important thing to say is that, as always, football changes. So I think when I first joined the club, they just introduced the what is now standard to us, where it's 5, 7, 9, 11, and no doubt when they changed to that, it probably introduced so much. People were, a lot of the dinosaurs of football, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's 11 aside for 7-year-olds is absolutely fine. But now they've introduced 3v3, and I think there's still, for a lot of people, the jury's out. And I think, having seen it close up, we ran a festival a few weeks ago, and I kind of get it a bit more seeing it. I think, you're just delaying that sort of their first introduction to football is just a bit more fun, a bit more touches on the ball. And I think, with the rotation form of it, I kind of think I'm buying into it a bit more, but I know that not everyone will. But I think, this year we've got Justin and Jonathan that are kind of be the guinea pigs of that. And I mean, again, we've got stuff to do. That, what does it mean for us? We've got to think about what that means for our pitch allocations, etc., etc. But we'll make it work, as we always do. And I'm sure in time, many years to come, it'll just be the norm, no throw-ins and things like that some of us still can't get our head around. Right? So and then the last thing to note is, not the last thing, the nearly last thing to note is the frame football. That's been an excellent addition. I think we touch on that. Graham's got a report to say, but that I don't think a year ago we anticipated bringing frame football in, bringing a guy in, Nick Dufall, who was going to sort of be the officer. I think what we didn't quite appreciate, that Nick was looking to give it to us and then sort of do a runner, which is effectively, Graham thought he recognised in Nick another Graham, but Nick's or Graham thought, I can just drop it with him. But to be fair to that group, they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. He's taken them to some levels that I don't think they expected. And it's absolutely brilliant. The discipline this year, we had 40 yellow cards, 3 reds, and 4 misconduct. So again, when you've got 25 teams, that's not a lot of this misconduct. That's a manageable amount of misconduct. It still, there's admin involved in it, of course. And we know that when you get to those older ages, you're going to get yellows and reds and the occasional misconduct. But I do think on the whole, it's been pretty good in terms of discipline. People have been compliant. People have bought into what we've said as a committee. Like, sometimes we get a situation where, it feels wrong. I don't want to accept that. I want to fight. And we're saying, you kind of got to trust our judgment on these things. And I know it's sometimes hard, but, as a committee, we're really grateful to everyone that sort of for their cooperation, and sort of including us in any comms as soon as it happens is what we always say. The last thing to say from me is, so the AFC ladies, obviously they're not here today, unfortunately, so doesn't bode well. But we've made the decision to detach the ladies from Brislington Juniors or AFC Briz, and we've put them into Brislington FC. So it makes a really clean distinction for us. So we've got the juniors, which is our youth kind of setup, and we've got the ladies and the men's that our juniors kind of transition to. And it doesn't mean them and us, it means us and us, right? So it means, they will still play most of their matches here. They will play some up there. Our girls will still be their primary feed, just in the same way that, we're starting to see with our boys team. So it is, I think it's a clean distinction. Probably, takes us back to where we were many, many years ago before, there was some falling out, and I think everyone's, both juniors and seniors, are really positive about the sort of the new collaboration. So so that's it from me. Thanks guys. Sorry, a bit longer than thank you.
No, thank you, Phil. Boyd,
Yeah, so here's report. Jake's not here, so I'll just cover this off. Phil's covered a lot of it off already, and you would have received the document by email. But 3 main strands of income: the juniors, DHU, and the tournament. I'm just really pleased to say that we made a profit against all 3 strands there. Linking that into how you contribute to that, so making the tournament a success, helping out, driving those sales, helping us put the tournament on, so money there. DHU, come and have your coffee, come and have a sausage sandwich, have your parties here, have your presentations here, bring the money in for Susie. And then obviously from a club perspective, paying your subs on time, getting that money in, because there are costs to us. So upgrades, we just need the toilets be upgraded, that come at significant cost. The pitch maintenance, the seed, the diesel for the tractors, things that are not always visible, but there's a cost. So we need those incomes coming in. Equally, your end of season trophies, the VO, Sky Sports, it all costs money, but you're all receiving that as being part of the club. So not to dwell on too much, you can read it all, but it's been a financially successful year. The top table just got to decide what they want to go and spend the money on now. And I'm sure it just go from strength to strength. So thank you, everybody, because even though you think you might not be contributing, you are contributing to bringing funds into the club and allowing it to be what it is today. So thank you. Moving forward, obviously Joe's, as Phil said, I want to say as well, she's kind of digital by default, streamline the process, absolutely fit for purpose. Joe was doing a job, big loss in doing that, but have to respect and thank Joe for what she's done, and respect her for her decision to move on because of her own commitments. But obviously we've got a replacement. The top table held interview, had a conversation, and Lisa is taking over.
That's got to be voted in yet.
or is potentially going to be voted in to take over. But I'll still be here to support. But you may start seeing less of me on these particular kind of monthly managers meetings. But so thanks for everything you do.
Well, thanks, Roy. And again, I'd like to thank Joe for all her efforts over the last few years. So, thank you.
Well, I was going to just add to what Boyd said very, very briefly. Like just maybe for the newer members of the community, it's like obviously we're never looking to make profit. All the money is effectively always going back into the club. So, like, you know, obviously, you know, had we not done the toilets, we'd have made a significant amount of profit. We're not looking, so all profits are just getting fed back into how can we make the club better. You know, so just to be absolutely clear, anyone who's not really sure, well, what do you do with that money? The money is just always feed. We have, as you can see, we take a lot of revenue, we spend a lot, and we spend a lot on standing stuff. We're always thinking, what are our projects for the year? And we do think about where are we going to spend the money. And like, you know, Graham will often say, oh, you know, you could spend 25 grand a year on this machinery if you want, and the like. So we're always, you know, the money's always going back into the club. That's just really important to make sure that everyone's aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay, that leads us on to the league secretary's report. Hannah Minor League.
Yeah, so Matt's not here, but I mean the bullets of, I think he sent the report out. Overall, he commented that, you know, there was you know, pretty good season from the teams. Everyone's set to play in the sort of top divisions next season. We had some good cup success with the 11s winning the All-Team Cup and the 9s and 10s getting to the finals. So that's pretty good. Like all three teams getting to the finals at some point in the year, having that sort of experience. 7s had a really strong first season, and the under 18s competed well. Obviously, next season, this Hannah Minor League's the thing that's going to be that new format, new 3v3 format, and then of course the delay in moving up from 5v5 to 7v7. So quite a lot of change coming next season, of course. And of course, now all Hannah Minor League teams will use a size 3 football again, which comes in line with that format. So yeah, pretty standard stuff for the report for that.
All right, thank you. Lucy, Haven Youth League.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly go over this. The minutes have already gone out. We had a bit of a wet patch mid-season, which caused a lot of games to be postponed. That was League and Cup, both cups, League Cup and County Cup. But some teams ended up having back-to-back towards the end of the season. So thanks for the guys to being flexible with that, because it's not easy when you're doing Sunday midweek and Sunday. So Jake's team under 12s, it was our first competitive season at Avon Youth. Finished mid-table. I would say it was quite a good standard this year, would you say? Yeah, so I would say that's quite a fair place, yeah. Staying at 99 next season?
Yes.
Yeah, so stay at 99 next season and see how we do with that. Matt's under 13s, they finished 3rd this season in the league. They came runner-up in the Avon Youth Cup and they won the Somerset Cup, so still quite achieving on that one. Brett's team, so he decided to drop a couple of divisions this season due to numbers, and actually the season before they were getting defeats quite badly, and he's earned promotion this season, so I think that's a really good achievement that he's done that, and also got to the quarterfinals in the Avon Youth Cup, so I think that's quite a good achievement compared to last year. Scott's team finished runners up, and I think in that league Rotleys win it every year, so I think that's pretty much a win. Coming runners up, they also got to the semi-finals in the Avon Youth Cup, so again that's quite a good achievement. Craig's under 16s, again runners up, and quarterfinals in the Avon Cup. He struggled with commitment, I think, towards the end of the season with training and stuff in the boys. I think it gets that point, don't you, at 16s when they're ready to move on. Don't think any of the boys are staying for our 18s, but they're moving to Avon now. And then Chris's Colts. Again, mid-table. I think you've had a success this year where you've had 4 boys that's on their 10-year stint. So I think that's really good to have boys going that far. And for you, for sticking it. So all the best of whatever you and your boys do next season. And hopefully still see you later. But yeah, it's been quite a funny season this year for the boys, because normally we get loads of silverware, and actually the positions in the league just show actually they're still going pretty strong. So yes, well done.
Thank you, Lucy. Bristol Girls League.
Yes, right. So I think this is the first year we've had the full sort of team set up from under 7 to under 16. And I think obviously there are a few drops in numbers and certain teams. So I think finishing the year with all the teams is a massive success, and just goes to show, I guess, the growth of the girls football in and around Bristol. For those that don't know, I think it's now the largest league outside of London and the South East. So it's bigger than Liverpool, bigger than Manchester, bigger than Birmingham. So I think in Bristol, obviously doing really well in terms of our football. I mean, I think in the under 11s for next season, Joe's year, there's going to be 38 teams over 4 divisions. So, which is a massive change. I think teams like Down End have got 4 teams now entering. So just, I guess, shows you quite big difference where it was, say, 4 or 5 years ago. I think we still get a drop off in teams, so get to under 13s, under 14s, and do seem to have a bit of a drop off in numbers. So I think for next season as well, just trying to keep hold of the girls and recruit new girls, and obviously as their hobbies and that change, just trying to make sure we can keep those consistency of teams. In terms of how the teams have got on, I think all the underages have had great seasons. Really, a lot of new players coming in, and I mean most teams are oversubscribed. So I mean my team's got something like 14 girls. I think Jez has got two new players, for example. So just trying to see how we can give all the girls football, and obviously provide them opportunities in the game. Older age group, so under 12s and under 13s were unlucky, came runners up in the Somerset Cup. So I think it's a good day in the sun down there, actually, just unlucky against Portishead in both those games. And then congratulations to Lewis and his team, who were under 16 Division A winners jointly with their best mates, obviously Lewis, and winning the Somerset Cup as well. So I think they won that quite convincingly. So yeah, massively well done to them. I think one of the things over the summer is just trying to make sure we continue our pathway. So we've got to look at how do we get the under 7s 3v3 going. I think we've potentially got enough girls in the club. It's just trying to recruit a few more and manager then to actually try and make sure that we keep that consistency. And what would be great to see is each year now we follow and have an under 7s each season, move into an under 8s, and we have that full pathway going from under 7s all the way up to women's football. I think you can see that with Lewis's team helping in terms of the women's football as well. So it's great now to see that there is that pathway going through from summer school all the way to women's football. Yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Craig. Bristol Saturday Youth. Paul.
First of all, the rain start, you've been growing for us this season. I've been part of it, really appreciate it. Only one team in the BSL this year, the under 12s and under 16s had to play due to numbers, so just one team. Yeah, a flying start to the season. I think we started with 5-5 to start the season. Flying many points, scoring those goals, playing really good football. Unfortunately, the league decided to change it and split the league, so it was under to league and spring league, but it doesn't mean that we went on to win the autumn league for a good 6 points. Weren't too good in the second part of the season. Struggled to get going after the break with bad weather, but this year I managed to finish 13 points off the top. So a really successful season. I'm looking forward to next season. There's a bit of change coming in for this season. A fair few boys leaving, a few more coming in. But it should be a good season. New changes coming in for the league, but nothing really serious. And that's it, really.
Thank you. Greg, 18s Sunday.
Yeah, okay, so obviously we only got one team in the under 18s. We were in Division 1. We finished 8th, which was only 11 teams in the league, so it's not a great achievement. I think we kind of ended up in Division 1 at the start because we entered late, but we probably wanted to be in Division 2 because we were all pretty much under 17s in the lower age group. It was a good laugh at times. It was difficult at times as well. I think what you find at 18s, the parents disappear, both from getting the kids to the game, taking them home, putting the goals out, moving the goals. So it's difficult. I think the fact that we entered late and we still got in means that if there's still something you want to do, Chris, and keep going for one more year or two, you could do it. And if someone's got the appetite to take an 18s on, then it probably can still be done if you want to do that. The league itself's a little bit chaotic. Get some random emails from the guy running it at the moment saying his phone's broken and stuff like that. But so so I'm sure there's a way in if we want it as a club. So what I want to say is like great run, 11 years with the team. Probably not the best way to finish it overall, but I think we finished last year. Really, that was the way we went out. And thanks to Boyd really for being on my shoulder the whole time, being a good mate, good coach, just good bloke really. So yeah. So if you want to go again next year, there's a space. Think serious about it. I would. But a decent season. But like I say, can only see it getting worse next year with more nightclubs, more girls around, more distractions, more blokes football on the scene. So I think it's probably the right decision overall. So
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, finished yet, have you? You've still got complaints.
however, it's not me now.
Yeah.
Right. AFC leaders.
Yeah, so I'll talk on behalf of the ladies. So obviously you might remember they were in the County League and they won. So the season before they won promotion into the next tier, which is the Southwest Regional. So it's actually quite a good standard of ladies football. One sort of measure of that is that, like, if you were to imagine Bath, and when they're sort of selling their proposition of ladies football, playing that standard, this is the same standard that Bath play. So it's kind of like it's a good sort of division of football. And we were all sort of quite optimistic about success really. Like they kind of came second in the county league. They'd had a good number of girls. The manager was asking about when can we set up a reserve side. And we were still a little bit early in our journey because our pathway was still slightly too early because we obviously, we only had 16s. It was sort of still about, a year too early. So we all kind of went into the season with quite a lot of optimism, but really things didn't go at all well. The manager couldn't commit after all. We brought in a manager who we thought was keen, but he wasn't. It was a disaster. Libby, the captain, who was the one really one of the people that really driving force behind that team. She was sort of having to co-manage as well as playing. She doesn't know many of the instruments of the game of management. She's just a player, and so they really found themselves in quite a difficult position. And I guess not uncommon with ladies football is people have like lifestyle things that changed. It means they're not available, having babies and getting married or whatever, and so they really suddenly they went from having 40 players down to less than 16, and they really struggled. And obviously the results, and you're playing tougher opposition, and so it really wasn't great, and they struggled, and they did come last in the division. Fair play to them that they only actually forfeited one game, which is credit to the core and the nucleus of that team that just kept going, even though it would not have been easy. And to Libby, deserves, if she would be here, she would deserve a round of applause because she just kept them going somehow. And it's like she just wants to play and be a captain amongst girls and women. She probably didn't expect what she had to do. But they, at the end of the season, despite there was some sort of shoots of optimism towards the end of the season. So Lewis, firstly, we have to just call out Brett came in and helped out. So I think Brett's connected to one of the ladies, and he started coaching and giving them a bit of an extra voice and a bit of extra sort of administration. And then latterly, Lewis also started, some of his girls when they were old enough started signing on, and that gave them a few extra bodies. And they were, it didn't matter about the results then. It was just even having more than 11 to play was just a bonus, and it's good experience for some of Lewis's girls that were old enough. So yeah, there's some shoots of optimism right at the end, but of course the actual brutal thing was that they finished last in the division, but they have got a reprieve going to this season. So they've expanded the league by an extra division. So they actually didn't get relegated down to county. And that is beneficial because, it is actually more local football. You're playing teams much more local than having to travel the sort of broader county sort of teams. So there's quite a bit of optimism next season. With the new management structure the committed management structure that isn't here today. But there is quite a lot of optimism. I think we've got a new manager, Scott Williams, who is connected with Lewis's kind of 16 girls, and Lewis is also involved. And we're kind of we see a sort of I think Lewis, you've already started training together, so we're going to very much see the 16 girls, the ladies training together as one, and kind of so we're probably going to get that position where we want. And if we think if we can keep that going well this season, every year it will just get easier because we'll have a pipeline of the girls coming through. So I think we've got through it just about, and we kind of I think the future's still bright. So it's just been probably tougher than we expected. And of course, as I say, they are transitioning now. So next season they won't come to the AGM because they'll go to the Briz FC AGM. So we're good to know about their commitment in that respect.
Short agenda.
Sorry?
We'll have a short agenda.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, Phil. Graham, Frame Football.
Well, Phil's mentioned most of it already, but I just want to say it's been a pleasure getting involved with them. So we had that meeting 18 months ago or so now to specifically take them on, take the disability group on. And I know myself, Phil and Greg, went across the first few sessions to see what it was all about. As you said, you kind of get wrapped up. It seems all of you guys do, boys and girls here, when you go and be a parent coach and someone puts their arm around you and says, come and help out on the sidelines. Before you know it, the kids are the ones that get enthusiasm and going, want to do it more. So, I'm glad that they sort of took me on board, let me get involved with them as well, because I enjoyed that much of that, I think. As you said, we turned them into a football team, which was fantastic. And we have had some successes with it, but the biggest success is the fact that the kids are playing football, really. Because the thing they used to say to me is, oh, my mate plays in this team, he's always telling me to play football and team. Why don't you play in this team? That's basically what we've done. That's what we've given. We've given them a football club to belong to and a team they can play on purpose. And that's the biggest thing. I think as a club, it's been a great thing. Hurts the kids. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, and it was really nice when we did the little announcement of the tournament and the stage, and I think for them to have that little bit. And do you remember, for those that were there at the time, we said a little few words on the sort of announcer, and I think there was a few people it touched because it was kind of what's going on here, and last year with the 40th when we put the match on, I think we've done a lot of good things with them, probably more than we might have expected and that they might have expected. It's amazing.
Yeah. Really, really rewarding, really.
And well done, Greg, for your hard work as well. Compliance, Greg?
Yeah, okay. So thanks for all you guys for sort of towing the line. A few of you drag your feet, but it's by far the minority. I think DBSs have always been a bit clumsy, a bit complicated, but I think it got easier this year. Although not reliably easy, it kind of still struggles on self-certification and things. But if they get it working, it should be a bit more of a breeze. Thanks to Graham, because really through his efforts and that Frame Football, we've gone from a 2-star to a 3-star. I think we know we're all the best. We are the best football club in Bristol. You all know that, don't you? Yeah. But having a 3 stars just draws a line under it for me. And not only is it kind of we've ticked a box, we've actually extended this community of people with another group that have really added value to what we do. So I think Graham actually deserves a round of applause for the way he's
it's worth just, as he said, by chance, the seniors, because we've created a pathway from juniors to seniors. The seniors now also inherit the 3-star, and so
we charge. We should charge him.
So I kind of bigged it up, saying, "I've got us 3 stars," and they were over the moon because there's not many Western League teams will be a 3-star. So when you look at that like what that looks like. It looks great, and so that little, you know, we haven't done it for the stars, have we? But there's a lot of sort of ancillary benefit that comes with it, you know.
And to be fair as well, when we've had those days where the kids have been mascots, we've had some of the framers up there and they've been brilliant with that, helping them get into the change rooms and go around with every single player. So they love to be part of that.
Yeah, and you know, we need to tick boxes with it. You know, making sure it's a safe environment for kids is really important, but also making you guys got the right skills, got the right certification as well is important, because hopefully, you know, in some respects you do learn stuff when you go on the level 1, and there's CPD training you can do, and a lot of material on the FA to keep developing yourself as coaches, not just on the grass, but through the learning program as well. So I'd encourage you to look at that as well. Yeah, so I'm looking to hand this role over, but I won't just drop it. Those who are interested, happy to meet up, take you through what's required. It's just admin, really. But, you know, it's onboarding people really as well to the club in lots of ways to show them, you know, what we expect and how we operate. But, you know, it's not massive amount of work. Start of the season, there's a bit of work to do, you know, to get new coaches on and things. I think, Graham, when we brought those under-7s on last year, it was like an army of people that hopefully we don't replicate again. I don't think we are this year, so that's good news. But so, yeah, happy to hand over, work on a transition. But like I say, it's just a bit of admin, a bit of perseverance, a bit of chasing is all you need to do in a nice, friendly way. So hopefully I've done that quite well over the years.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
On that, Greg, thanks for your hard work and the compliance over the last 3 years. Obviously, the vice chairmanship you've done, your management over the last 11 years, is it? Yeah. I think Greg is over it. And last one, welfare officer.
Yeah, okay. Again, follow up with Greg. Some of these things we've had to get involved in over the last few years with compliance stuff has become pickle. And if Greg could see some of the things I'm seeing on WhatsApp groups with welfare officers for Somerset, it's a disaster, as you said. Sometimes it's not always the people's fault when they're not quite getting that compliance done right. Because the systems are an absolute nightmare sometimes. And today I must have had 30 messages through from people, various clubs, and Megan rulers, that I'll get more of that, I'll get more of that, because they know things are tripping them up and it's no review. So again, I want to thank not only Greg for persevering with that, but obviously all the coaches and all the assistants that get involved and follow the process, because it isn't really straightforward, is it? And you have to persist with it. So well done to everybody for that. This is something they brought in, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And obviously it became even more important around COVID times. And that's when we kind of got Greg involved to become a compliance officer. That's when we kind of created that role. And the work that Greg did over those years was phenomenal as well. So that's kind of forgotten by now. I keep seeing repeat information about that. And I'm thinking back of when we were first trying to negotiate all those things, Greg, with what we had to do for COVID. That was incredible. So what you sat then and turned out got to go through on the smooth pathway is phenomenal. I want to praise you again. Well done. The club, the biggest thing I want to say to you is, we say at most meetings, is if you have any incidents, any games, if you feel there's anything that I need to be involved with, let me know straight away. It's the same with any discipline stuff. Phil, we need information early doors. And I can again praise the coaches, because, you know, for instance, this year, and because they've been very proactive in getting information through to us, me in particular, we've been able to jump onto things and nip them in the bud and stop people running telling tales to Somerset about us, perhaps, or giving me the chance to get into Somerset first and get our story straight ahead of people being whinging what Christmas. Say, oh, my word, video. But to be fair to Somerset as well, they trust us as well because of how good I think we are with everything we do. So again, just make sure you get that to us. We can deal with any instance. If you feel there's any circumstances, any games that you're not happy with, bring it to us, bring it to our attention soon, and we'll deal with it. And there's some people here today who will know we've done it on their behalf this year. And we've done it on behalf of helping players within the club. And again, that's down to the coaches bringing some possible problems to us and moving into
solve them by having meetings with parents at home. So again, just thanking everybody. That's all that.
Right, it's that point in the meeting now that we hand the meeting, I stand down, and the top table stands down. We hand the meeting over to the club president, Graham Mills.
Yes. Yeah. Again, you obviously all had all the documentation through, and you've all read every word of it, yeah, I guess. Hopefully you've read the agenda, at least the front page, because you will see that there are some amendments. So I'll just go through some of those at the moment. But before then, obviously I want to, again, as president, want to thank every one of you for being part of this fantastic club. But more importantly, these top table people and the secretaries of the leagues. Again, massive round of applause for all of them. I want to talk a little bit as well about the original president, Mr. Dixon, who stood there. I just had 10 minutes with him in the street before I came down here tonight. It's lovely to see him still doing it. I didn't tell him this was on because he would have strangled me, because he still thinks he should be president doing this bit. But let me assure him, if he was, he'd tell you 20 jokes. He wouldn't get the punchline for any of them. And we've been here a long time, so I'll try to be a bit quicker. But Craig tells me that he'll tell him on Wednesday he hasn't seen me for ages, but that's another thing. But he's a lovely old chap, Ted, and we're just so pleased and proud that Ted and Jim Andre formed this club when they did in 1985. So I'll round of applause for those guys, please. So from that one team, Craig's brother, we've got athletes, and boys and girls, every it's from them. So to the business of the meeting, okay. So we have chair, president is Craig Dixon, proposed is Craig Dixon. Do we have anybody else who wants to be nominated? No, start that down straight away. Vice chair, obviously we currently have Greg Rock. We do have another nominee. Perfect. Lucy Sweet, she's smiling in the corner there. Again, before I say whether you're all happy with that or not, I'm going to go through the rest of them. General Secretary again is Phil, staying as that. Deputy General Secretary was a vacant role because when I was Secretary, Phil was my deputy, but in truth, he did most of it anyway, which is why we gave it to him officially. And we do have another person who's put their hand up to come and get involved. And I think that would take quite a bit of the load off of Phil. He's already got plans on what that person's going to have to do. I don't think he's probably told him it yet too much. So I won't scare you off, Joe, with it. But thank you for stepping up and putting your name forward for that. Treasurer, as we spoke about earlier, see Joe King stepping away. And Lisa, fantastic to have another person come and get involved. And I understand, obviously, you've been interviewed by the people. They've explained to you what things are going to go on. And I think they believe it's going to be a perfectly smooth transition. So that's fantastic. So well done and thank you to you. And the rest, Boyd's going to carry on as assistant to the treasurer. Myself, I'm happy to carry on as welfare officer unless anybody else wants to kick me out and jump in and do it. And I don't mind, honestly. Maybe Youth League, staying obviously as Lucy. And over here we have Matt, happy to stay obviously as Hammond Minor League. Craig Manners stays Bristol Girls League. Kelly Moody, and her proxy Paul to do the Bristol Saturday League. Under 18 was Greg. Obviously, we've got no under 18s yet, Chris. Yeah. So that's still vacant. But just to let you know, when you do put a team in, you automatically become the secretary. So that's fine. Hit manager is Boyd. And again, thank him for that. Well, Rookie's done with this as well. He's going to carry on. Clubhouse, that's never in question. She's going nowhere and she's there forever. We're going to change. Well, don't need to change her because she lives and breathes the place. So we're obviously going to keep Susie doing that job. Website manager is Bill, and disability officer, because the famous Nick Dewfall from Bristol Frame decided to run and hide when he saw that I was quite happy to do it. So I'm obviously going to take Alan's official role as well. So before I ask you if there's any other nominations, because I think the question's already been asked, I'd like you to come with me and say, are we happy to vote those people in en bloc, as we've said in replacements? Yes?
Yeah.
All happy? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. Job done. So I'd ask You just step down, please. Lucy, just step up and welcome Lisa up to the top table, please.
So I think Craig just let a few people in. So we now go into the bit that's always quite nice is the recognition awards kind of section. So there's always a couple of people we include. We tell them it's about 8 o'clock. It's 2 minutes to 8, so we've done quite well. So yeah, we'll just wait for them to come in. Hopefully all of the award winners are here.
Are we doing that order?
Yeah. You do with someone photos. Do you want to do photos? But just if you can get all in you.
Okay then. This leads us on to the awards for the season, as voted by yourselves, hopefully, everybody. Okay, so I got the pleasure of doing Club Person of the Year. This person's probably been about the club longer than most of us. The hard work is put in every year, and it's not just over the sort of course of this football season. It's week in, week out, over the summer. Loads of effort and work rate goes in over the tournament weekend. It's a pleasure to say Club Person of the Year, Susie.
Thank you, everyone.
That leads us on to Manager of the Year. That's going to be presented by Greg.
That's going to give his dog That one there on the right.
This one?
Yeah.
Bit of an honour to present this award. It's a really worthwhile award at the club. I think Craig said what a season we've had as a club. Great success in many age groups. So fiercely competitive, I think, in terms of being able to announce a winner today. I think the votes were so close that we've actually got a joint winner, and that reflects both boys and girls football, which I think is a great message for the club. There's a lot of heroes at this club. We talked about a few already. There are some emerging heroes as well. One of the guys I think is on this, one of those, whereas the other is actually an established hero already. But they've both had great seasons. I think a special note to say, despite winning a league and a cup, Lewis, you've had a fantastic season, but you've been picked on this occasion. That shows you how strong this competition is. But special round of applause to Lewis.
way we operate across our teams is great. I think everybody loves being involved in our two teams. Really pleased to say that winners on last week, Mark February.
Oh, it's great being in the club. 5th year this year, doing it. I love it. Just we got the same, almost the same bunch of girls from day dot almost actually. And so thanks to Craig, who got me into it. Craig's been amazing. Always there for a chat, a little bit of advice. I always buzz Phil about getting a pitch, especially up there because I want to see Susie. Who don't want to see Susie on a Sunday morning when they're pissed off? I get a bacon roll, but no, I love the club and it's great everyone we're doing, so keep doing what we're doing. Cheers.
Yeah, Boyd, Fred Hardwell Shield.
Fred Hardwell Shield. So this one, yeah. So as everyone else has said, who's been presenting an award, like just having the opportunity to give an award out is a privilege anyway. Having received one myself, it means a lot. So what does the Fred Hardwell Award Shield stand for? Well, I was asking Phil that earlier, and it's basically Clubman of the Year plus breaching European working hours of the year. Does everything, the fabric, and I guess this is just one more example of appreciation and thanks this person because putting a plaque outside with his face on there is not enough. We wanted to recognise you for this as well, all the hard work you do, especially with the frame football and what you've done, taking it from nothing to winning 2 tournaments at St George's Park year on year, bringing them in, making them feel part of the Briz family, community, getting kits, bugging me to get funding, all of the above and more. The grounds that you do, none of you will be playing football if it wasn't Colin as well, but Graham pressing that, wanting better machinery, wanting better equipment, wanting the best topsoil and seed. But it shows, right, and we'll benefit from it. So this is a real honour for me and a pleasure to be able to award the Fred Hardwell Shield to Graham Mills.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's such an honour for me to receive this. For those of you who don't know about Fred, obviously, pictures up here, his name's on the bar. This is the man that got me involved in this 35 years ago. When I took my lad over to Bristol, as it was then, to go training, because a neighbour 2 doors up, his lad was playing under 11s, and my lad was 8. And he said, oh, I'll go over on Wednesday nights. There's training over there for all the age groups, from 5 o'clock up through. The youngest ones is 5. Over you go. Go over, go in and see the training, it's all going on. There's a guy in there saying, sorry mate, not too many, you can't come in. It's all out. Sent me out, tail between my leg. He said, your lad's too young anyway. You've got to be 9 because only under 10s was the start of those days. So I'm walking out. Fred, always late. It was his team that was in their training. But the guy who was the secretary at the time, Tony Ting, was taking it on his behalf. Fred said, where are you going, Bucker? Turn me back around, come back in. Want to run a team? First words he said to me, I walked in the door. Want to run a team? No, just put me boy training. No, I don't want to run a team. 35 years later, I'm still here because of that man. And you lot are the same. You lot, first of all, me and other people getting arms around you saying, can we get involved with the club? Come and do, oh, I'm not so sure. Do a bit of coaching. Ron Osborne, we used to talk about him all the years ago. Some of you don't know who he is, but his pictures are around. And he used to tell us how he went through from under 7s through to under 18s with it. and every day saying, "Oh, why did I let you do that to me? Take me in and help out the coaching for 5 minutes." But it's because of the enthusiasm of the kids that we all do it. And this to me is a great honour. So thank you so much.
That leads us on to Phil's going to give an award for the Steve Tucker Memorial Shield.
Yeah. So this award is a refereeing award. Steve Tucker was someone connected to the club a long time ago, before my time, and we passed away unexpectedly. And sort of someone that we've always, quite typically at the tournament, recognised for kind of refereeing excellence, or kind of many ways kind of demonstrating that excellence. But we generally, this one is very. We used to kind of ask people to vote for it, but more recently, me and Lou kind of do it based on our feeling of kind of the weekend of where help has come from. As you know, with the tournament, and loads of new people in here that have done the coaches that have helped, which we're really, really grateful for, because as you know, the tournament, one of the biggest things to make a tournament work is the refereeing. And we've got 8 matches always on going on at the time, so you have to have 16 refs at all times. Otherwise, well, 8, but 8's a lot, for them to do it all the time. We always need 16, and Lou and I are always like, stressing about how we're going to. And so we have to dip into kind of our young players, and that's an opportunity for them to excel. So this individual we might not have had many individuals on here that have won it more than once, but this is someone that's won it more than once. And this is a real kind of full circle moment where a few years ago this individual won it, and I remember it was like that's one of their first things they've done, first refereeing, and it is. And in the main, you'd think, oh, it's under 7 girls, under 7 boys. Surely you still get aggro from parents, bizarrely, And so I remember this girl, we awarded her because just her at the time, 3 or 4 years, I think it might have been 4 or 5 years ago, we awarded her just because she just got through it. I remember she was refereeing and she was crying into the next match, and we're like, my God, how has she got some strength in her? And she was unbelievable. And then this year, she came back. We hadn't seen her for 4 or 5 years. I think it was 2022. So we haven't seen her for sort of since then. And she came back and as a young woman, and it's like such a thought. And this time, I mean, and I think we can look back at that, the origins of her first referee, maybe gave her that little bit of confidence to step forward and kind of go out of her comfort zone. And now she has come back again, and this time she was a young woman full of confidence. And I think this process has kind of enabled that. So this is for Katie Hunt.
I'll say some on behalf of KD. You refereed most of the games around the front, didn't you? Yeah. And I remember coming round and coming off the pitch, and you said to me, if that manager says one more thing, I'm going to smash his. So, fair play to you.
And actually, one other final thing to just say, I probably should have said it a second ago, was that Craig and I were quite pleased that we had an under 14 boys final, and we had that we'll always have linesmen on the finals, and so the whole 3 officiating team was all girls. And again, that's real. I think we can take a lot of pride in where we've come and sort of trying to give that platform for girls to kind of have confidence in part of the game. And there would probably a time you couldn't imagine a 14 boys game being officiated by 3 girls. And 2 of them were quite young, so it was absolutely brilliant.
Well, that's brilliant.
Okay, that leads us on to the recognition awards. There's obviously 2 categories in this. Phil's gonna stand up and award the first one.
Yeah. So you might remember. So we always the last few years we we've sort of tried to make a real effort of recognising sort of family effort. Sometimes there's like, well, quite often actually, we thought, God, you know, this, and particularly the tournament. The tournament's obviously the one that captivates us, but that's just where we, you know, we demand so much in such a short amount of time. But actually, when you look back through the season, quite often you look back at those families that have just been ever present for many, many things that make the club successful. And every year, you always seem to think, oh, wow, that family's done so much for us this year. What would we have done without them? And this year, it was quite obvious to us that there was a family of 3 people that kind of supported the club through such different ways. So I'll call out, we had the young girl, never refereed before. Again, we sort of think about what Katie went through and how we like to think that gave you a little bit of confidence, you know, and it was the same. We were really short, me and Lou were like, we're so short of refs at this particular point. Where are we going to get a ref from? And we just needed someone to, and like, oh, you know, can you help us out with this? And this girl was like, I've never ref before. And I said, yeah, you're really short, you know, you'll be all right. And because she didn't sort of say no, I thought there's a nibble that I can probably carry on, sort of thing. And I was like, well, you know, so we gave her, you know, we carried on, and she actually thought, oh, that was okay, and she did really, really well. And actually, she came back the next day and did a full day refereeing, and she had no expectation of refereeing, and that's what happens, you know, sometimes, and it's absolutely brilliant. So that was one of this family members. Meanwhile, her dad was basically, you know, when he wasn't managing his team, he was refereeing all weekends. So it was just literally like, again, he does loads around the club, did loads around the club anyway. But again, the tournaments where, like, my God, he's just all in for the weekend. And that's what we want. And of course, his wife, you know, was there, you know, doing whatever Susie needed. And again, is often doing that again. So this one, if you haven't already worked it out, you probably haven't. I think it's.
The next 2 awards again is for volunteers. Greg's going to give both out. Yeah.
Okay, just to echo that, you know, our tournament and our club works because of the volunteers we get. You go to other tournaments, I'm sure a lot of you have, not a patch on this, because we're like clockwork, Bill's organising everyone, and there's just so many people that muck in to help. That's why we're such a great community here. And it's great that we recognise the young ones who are stepping forward as well. The first one isn't actually a player at the club, but he's got a sibling who plays in the team, stuck his hand up to help, despite being a, you know, a tough time in his education, or a really important time in his education, let's call it that, when GCSEs are on, still gave that time across the weekend to referee fantastically well as well. Did 3 of the 4 sessions across the weekend. I think everyone encountered him, thought what a positive young man he was, and, you know, how happy he was to help, and showed a really great attitude that was really well received. I'm not sure how you got him into ref, Phil, but you managed to do it, and hopefully we've got him picking up perhaps the referee shield in a couple of years' time if he keeps going. But I just really wanted to recognise Kieran Lee, so thanks for everything. Yeah, and following on from that, again, another young, I wouldn't say volunteer, because she's already been an integral part of helping around the club, not just at tournament weekend. She's personally helped me with football school on Saturday morning, really helpful, really bright, really cheerful. All the kids love her. She can't do anything, you know, more to help. She's always, can I do this, can I do that? So really full of energy and a positive vibe around everything she does. I think she also managed to find some important evidence in the rubbish collection down in it's really made
us ask questions of what the club are doing up the road, fights it did down in the corner of the site. We got some answers to that. But no, she's full of energy. She's so helpful. She's the sort of people we want as players coming through our club. Credit to the parents, by the way, as well. So well done, Eva Butcher.
Right. The last three we've got, there is one, obviously, Phyllis, Greg stepping down. So obviously we didn't really get that to late notice. So we will be giving Greg a presentation probably at the next manager's meeting or something. Greg, if you can turn up for that one. So we have got the departing treasurer, Joe. Boyd, if you want to, obviously she's not here to receive anything, but we will keep it back.
Yeah. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you said the words or?
Just thanking Joe, isn't it?
Yeah. So just on record, obviously Joe's done a great job the last 3 years. As I said, I think Lisa, you'll find it if you've not already started. It's going to be a seamless. There you are. Yeah, we'll see. No, I think you'll find it a seamless transition. But she's done great. She's made it easy. She's chased you out. You've paid your money. You're all scared of her. Paid it quicker than when Jeff was treasurer. She's going to be missed, notwithstanding. Don't know what you're all about yet. So, I'll accept this on Joe. We'll put it behind the bar for her to collect when she's next up here. So, the next one isn't it's a long time service award. Unfortunately, the person's not here. I did see him a couple of weeks ago. He promised me he'd turn up. But this Chris Green, he's been part of the club. I know he's been part of your team originally, I think it was, wasn't it? Then he's taken his own girls' team. He was running the under 14s this season. Decided to step down. But for everything that Chris has put into the club over the last, I'll probably say 15, 16 years, that's on behalf of Chris Green.
Right, and so the last award is another long service. I think I was talking about this the other day. It's quite remarkable when we get a manager that does the whole 10 years. I guess I was saying to someone, we probably should have some sort of way to recognise it persistently, like a Hall of Fame or something, because it's not easy to do. There's so many ups and downs. Sometimes you have to follow your kid elsewhere. Sometimes you want to pursue something that group can't take you. So it's so amazing when the same manager is able to bring a group of players and get an end of seasons awards for any length of time. And this individual, Chris, as we all know, he's still in my phone as Chris in brackets under 17. So and I kind of sometimes I think I should change that really, but I quite like that little legacy token that's gone on my phone. And but Chris, again, like many people, he sets out, don't know what's about to hit him, okay, I'm gonna have to be manager here. And next thing you know, you're here for 10 years managing all the ups and downs of managing. But actually, I don't really ever see any down. I'll be honest. Your team has been so stable, and it hasn't been like we say. It's not all about winning Division 1 football. It's about providing a platform for your boys, and you've done that, and to get as many end of season, as many tenure awards as you can. That's a fantastic achievement. But I know there's a lot of talk of, we'll probably all start shouting 2 more years in a minute, but I just think that Yeah, I just think that, as well as the football, you provided that kind of, leadership for that group of lads for 10 years, but you've done so much for the club. You're always, when we're at tournaments, you're always there to help. Whenever there's anything, you're really compliant with all the compliance we do. I don't think you've ever not been compliant. It's just been an absolute dream to have at the club. And so I hope you do find a way to, be it from, I think we all hope that you will find a way to somehow be at the club. Yeah, if not, get started again at soccer school, exactly. So, but
We've got also, he's done the 4 sessions refereeing over the tournament.
yeah,
And the only way we've got to keep him here, he's the only one who's got photographs of how all the Lego barbecue and everything goes together. So,
again, your lad referee again. So all these the sort of examples you've set for so many of these lads is just all part of it. It's not just So you're now just one of the club legends. So come up, Chris. You do.
As Graham touched earlier about just someone grabbing your shoulder and putting you in. Right, Graham done that to me 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Just bringing my boy up here as a dad, soccer school. Then I'm coaching, refereeing, building things. 10 years later, I'm still here. But what a fantastic club to be a part of. Couldn't have asked for a better club, better bunch of people, top table, everyone involved. Thank you very much, everyone.
thank you all. Not much left now. Moving on to any other business. Signing on.
Yeah.
The next season.
Yeah. So we've affiliated. So all the teams are now affiliated. So that's important because clubs, all the leagues need that for them to be able to create the fixtures, and we need that so we can start signing on process. So you may, for those of you that've been here before, you know that what I normally do is I do an uplift of the signing on form, which is already sort of starting to happen in the background. So within a week that'll be ready. I'll probably be looking, as I always do, for a few volunteers just to double check, things are working well. So you'll be able to start signing on, and that will just trigger the process as we're, the signing on machine that we are well versed in. The thing to mention about pitches, Craig. So we're assuming Graham and I have been in contact with the guy that marks the pitches. So we get that robotic guy in now, and sorry, not the robotic guy, the guy with the robots, I should say. So he will. We're expecting him to come and do that late July, which will mean that sort of pre-season friendlies will be able to start as they always do in August, and everyone's allowed 2 home friendlies. Again, when that's ready in a couple of weeks, probably in a week or so, week to 2 weeks, I'll send that form where you can kind of request your pre-season friendlies so that we can check everyone can get there too. We don't have clashes, etc. So that will happen fairly soon. The only thing to say about pitch is actually just under the AOB thing is that we have yet to 100% confirm our configuration of pitches. So obviously this year we've got to kind of have provision for the 3v3, and so Graham and I, and probably Colin and probably Craig, a few of us will have to just have a bit of a conversation to absolutely know what we're going to do. Are we going to put, because obviously this year we're going to have 4 5v5 teams, 4 7v7 teams, and we've got potentially 2 3v3 teams, and that would be potentially 16 kids using 3. So we don't know if we're going to be able to put those 3v3. Like a lot of what the FA has said is you would put those 3v3s inside your 5v5s, but we can't do that if we've got demand on the 5v5. So we're not yet 100% certain how we're going to configure that and exactly what our options are. So we'll just have to sort of watch this space on that, exactly how we do it, because obviously there is a potential worst scenario we might have to put a 7v7 at Victory Park. That's something that we're having to consider. So if that is the case, be mindful that that obviously everyone would get rotated. We know everyone would prefer to be here. We would prefer all the younger teams here, but we have got some finite kind of constraints that we have to work within. So we'll be in touch accordingly with that.
Okay, and just to go along with that, the 11-side pitches round the back. If you're training right there, please don't get the goal mouths out and put them exactly where the goals go, because the ground needs time to recover. If they get pulled out, get left there, teams will train on it, and that grass will be ruined. And you don't want that for the start of the season. So that's it. The pitches, yeah. So date of next committee meeting is Monday the 7th of September. And the date of the next GM has got to be confirmed. That is either going to be Saturday the 3rd or Monday the 5th of July. Okay, thank you everybody for turning up. I think it's one of the biggest turnouts we've had for an AGM in recent years. So yeah, feel free to have a drink now. There's some pizza being delivered in a minute.
I didn't know what to do. How many? I've catered for 50 to 60 people. So there might be some people needing to take some pizza or eat a lot, but you know, we thought Chris Green was coming. You know.
Just one last thing. Obviously, we was hoping to put the football on this weekend, Saturday night, so everybody could come up and have a good time. Unfortunately, there was a prior booking for an 18th birthday party. It is a member of the Hartwell family, so it's not something we can say, sorry, we're not taking your party booking. So unfortunately, we won't be showing the football on Saturday.
But we will on the Wednesday and Sunday. So all be there.
Confident.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Confident.
Thank you, everybody.
Well done, lads.
Well done.